Hey, everybody. It is Libby and Lacey. We're going to be your hosts today. We want to welcome everyone into the room as you guys come in. If you can, we would love to see your beautiful faces. It's great to talk to a smiling face versus a black box. But if it's not safe or you're driving, we completely understand, but we would love to see your beautiful faces. And we have a great guest today. That is super knowledgeable. She actually carries my professional insurance. And if you don't know what that is, professional liability, if you're a coach or you give advice, you need professional liability insurance. But Laura carries that for me because, Libby could say some really crazy things sometimes. So I need to make sure that I am insured. But we're gonna let everybody in, and as people are coming in, Lacey, do you have any thoughts? Like Lacey, what's the temperature where you're at right now?
Oh my gosh.
Is everybody out of the Arctic freeze yet?
No, 30 degrees. We had an ice storm last night, so
Yes, I was gonna say, yes, ice storm.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Lacey, where are you located?
We are in Metro Detroit, so a little bit south of Detroit. So yeah, Aaron's not too far from us.
At Columbus, Ohio, we had to peel the ice off the cars this morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so put in the chat what your current temperature is. We're 80 degrees in Southwest Florida right now.
Libby, you're only doing this because you can, you got 80 degrees.
No, I'm actually sweating. It's a little too hot right now.
Oh,
We're super jealous over here in New York.
You can come lay on my driveway and you can melt it off.
I know, right? Just rubbing it in.
Oh, I lived in Maryland, the DC area for a couple years, and man, it does affect our morale. Like as much as we don't think it does when we're shut up inside or we can't get that natural sunlight, I feel like it really plays into a bigger part of our like morale and our emotions than we think.
Marla, that's not bad. She's got 63.
No, 67, 68 in Vegas.
Yeah.
I won't be going outside.
Oh gosh. That's horrible.
I'm so ready for summer. So ready. I am not a cold weather girl.
Oh, yeah, me neither. I do think you become climatized to your weather.
Yeah.
We want to welcome any new members. Do we have any first timers here in Coffee and Conversation? If this is your first Coffee and Conversation,
welcome.
Thank you. Awesome. I was going to say, just drop first in the chat so we can welcome any first timers or new members to ISSA. Awesome. Oh, wow. Look at that. We have a couple first time, Sarah and David and Andrino. Awesome. Welcome. So hopefully we live up to your amazing expectations. And then council members, I have to get better at this, but Erin, would you like to acknowledge our council members and volunteers?
I can see there's a whole bunch of our volunteers on here. It's tremendous to have so many. And for those that are first timers, welcome to ISSA, the ISSA Residential Coffee and Conversation. We've been doing this for probably 2 years now, and it's just a wonderful experience. And then, but Heather, you're working more with the volunteers now. So why don't you go ahead and introduce some of our volunteers, and then while you do that, I'm going to find a link to put in the chat so people can, if they want to volunteer and get involved, they can do so.
Yeah, so welcome everybody. My name is Heather Goswij. I'm the Associate Director here at ISSA. Welcome to all residential cleaners. I'm so excited to be working with all of you. Thank you to all of our volunteers. We currently have 3 different task forces that help us with some of our programming here at ISSA. And specifically for Coffee and Conversation, we have Libby and Lacey here. We have Jeannie. I see Todd. Marlo has definitely helped us out volunteer-wise. I said Jeannie already. Who else is here? I don't see other faces. I'm sure there are more of you. Wave or turn on your cameras if I haven't mentioned you, but we do have a lot of volunteers from different residential cleaning companies, and we need more help. So if you'd like to volunteer, Erin will put something in the chat and let us know what you'd like to volunteer for and be included in with this community. We have different, 3 different types of task forces that you can volunteer for: Coffee and Conversations, there's an education task force, and there's the mastermind task force that we're looking for volunteers for. And we'll be starting those groups up here shortly. So thank you and welcome to Coffee and Conversations.
Awesome.
And I did you notice that today we have Libby, Lacey, and Laura? Like, I just thought that, I'm like, that was really nice. I know.
Isn't that cute?
Power of the L.
Yes.
Right. Right.
Awesome. So Laura, I think we've covered everything we need to cover so far as far as the speakers, volunteers, welcoming everybody. And we would love for Laura, if you wanted to introduce yourself. I'm a big fan of people introducing themselves. I think because when we do it for others, sometimes we miss things or we don't have that passion behind it. I'm probably like Jeannie. We met Laura years ago through CBF, and she is an expert when it comes to insurance. So I have my own questions ready for her, but you guys get your questions ready, get them teed up. Anything you've ever wanted to ask about liability, risk in our cleaning companies, employees, subcontractors, name it, umbrella policies. What are your questions? Get them ready. We're going to let Laura do her intro in a few minutes of just sharing with us some insights, and then we're going to go to Q&A. We want this to be an open discussion where everybody can contribute and ask questions.
Sounds great. Hi, everyone. I'm Laura from Moody Insurance, and I specialize in writing commercial policies for residential and commercial cleaners. I work with many trade associations and franchisors, and we do everything from single operators to multi-million-dollar companies. But my goal at the agency has always been an education piece, to work with people to have them understand the coverage they have before an actual claim comes through, so that they're not left out in the cold. We've had many claims that have happened where someone doesn't have enough insurance coverage, and it's sad to see a business close because of it. So I've been with Moody for a little over 30 some years now. And this is a specialty for me. I started the program 30 years ago when it started. And I thank all of you who are clients of mine. I truly appreciate it. But for me, it's about finding gaps in coverage and pointing things out that you may not have even known were an industry problem.
Awesome. All right. So Laura, did you want to break into your presentation that you're ready to give?
Yeah.
And then we can go from Q&A, or did you want to do some Q&A first?
No, I can go. Well, I'm almost wondering if we should do a Q&A just so I make sure that I'm touching on the topics that people have. I wanted just to share, or maybe I can share some hot things that are happening right now in the industry so that everybody's just aware of them. And then if there's more questions with this piece, I can always answer them also.
Love that.
Let me just talk to you about some hot trends that are happening right now. So the first one is commercial auto insurance. For anybody that has commercial autos on their policies, if you are using them personally and they are truly personal vehicles, and you have those vehicles titled personally with no markings, get them off of your commercial policies. Put them on your personal insurance policies. We are seeing such a rise in the cost of commercial auto insurance right now. So years ago, we said, put everything on the commercial, you can save money, and that's not the case anymore. So if you do have any in your personal names, it's also opening you up to liability personally. So if you don't have a lease in place from yourselves personally to your businesses, try to put them on your insurance policies, personal insurance policies directly. So that's the first thing. The auto, we worked on an auto quote last week in Florida, and one car was $8,000 for the territory where it was. And it's very frustrating because these insurance companies are in the market, they're pulling out of the market, they're in, 2 months later, out again. So it's us constantly shopping on the back end where we can save money and what we can do for people. So that's the first thing. I do want to caution everyone to make sure that anybody that's driving on your behalf, that you're pulling motor vehicle records to see what's on there. Most insurance companies aren't worried about having a little something on there like a ticket or an accident. They're looking for anything in a 3-year period, typically 2 accidents, 2 tickets, or something big like a DUI, DWI, vehicular homicide. What they're finding is the people with poor driving records are the ones that are leading to some of the largest workers' compensation claims we've seen. So pull the driving records. If you all need a referral for somebody who does that for us, they can give discounted costs. I'd be happy to share that information with you. And you want to make sure that you're making all the drivers listed on the policy that are actually driving on your behalf. Most businesses need a policy or an auto policy that includes a coverage called hired and non-owned auto liability. So many policies, they'll throw it in, but some agents don't know to throw the coverage in, and it is so inexpensive in a year. But anybody that is driving on your behalf, for instance, you have an employee that's going to and from different sites, they're responsible for their own car, their own insurance, the damage that happens to it, the damage they cause, that is on them. In the event that they are in an accident and they don't have enough insurance or they don't have any insurance, their policy could have canceled, either they knew about it or didn't know about it. If they were driving on your business's behalf, your business can be brought into liability for a lawsuit because of it. So I want to have everybody know every 6 months or so, you should make sure that people have insurance coverage. Set a tickler for yourself. Just get a copy of an auto ID card, have them show it to you, because if you ever have to go in front of a judge and a judge says, shame on you as a business owner, you don't have a policy in place, you can say, yes, I do. Every 6 months, I check, I make sure that everybody has insurance coverage, and they had it when I checked. So that's just a tidbit for everybody. But the auto insurance right now is a problem. Uninsured motorist coverage, for years, we told people to keep the same limits that you have on liability. You want to protect yourselves. But what we found in some states, employees that are filing workers' compensation claims, they're actually double dipping. Now they're filing uninsured motorist claims too. So what I tell people is, if you have owned vehicles on your policy and you're having your employees drive those owned vehicles, you may want to reduce that limit of coverage. Typically, I write $1 million of coverage for general liability on my auto. You may want to reduce it to $100,000 on that. And I can help anybody if they have any questions, but it's just to protect your business, because the lawsuits that are rolling through are insane. Another hot topic right now is the late reporting for workers' compensation claims. Anytime something happens, it's important that you have a relationship with your agent where you're picking up the phone, telling them what happened, what's going on. When you report late to an insurance carrier, they have the right not to pay these claims. So we have to be very careful on what's happening. What you don't want to happen is, let's say that it was something where somebody fell down, they didn't think they had anything, they stopped working for you, and 2 years later, you have a lawsuit. You have all this paperwork because they've injured themselves, they have back injury, now they need back surgery. You never reported the claim. You could be on the hook for those injuries yourself. So please, if a claim comes through, even if you don't think anything's going to happen, sometimes it's good for us to have it reported to the insurance company for information purposes only, so that you can protect yourselves, so that they don't open up any claims on that. So the other thing you want to be careful right now in workers' compensation is misclassifying the scope of work that people are doing. Typically in the residential and commercial industry, most states have different classes. One's residential, one's commercial. And if you have somebody that's doing both, they are supposed to be rated in the highest class that they're working in, unless your state lets you split them up. So if you have residential and commercial and they split their time 50-50, you can split it up as well. What we're telling people is to make sure that you're not misclassifying in the way that, let's say that you had somebody that was in Maryland and the code for residential was more expensive than commercial. So you just use the commercial classification on your policies. What's happening is the insurance commissioners and NCCI, who never had time to do this before, have now found time to go back through the policies. And they are looking to see if the right classifications are being used on policies. If they're not, they can go back up to 3 years and charge you for what you should have paid. So many insurance agents don't know that. They don't follow the laws that are happening in this industry. It's not just our industry. They're trying to crack down on the right classifications being used, especially when it comes to contractors, and janitorial is falling under the contractor class. So just make sure you're using the right classification. Some states you can use, like Texas 9014, that classification is used for residential and commercial. So there's no reason to break it out. And anybody has questions with that, I can help you with that. They are some coverages that you're going to need in the future. If you don't have them right now, you're going to want to make sure that you're carrying employment practices liability coverage. That coverage sometimes can be thrown in under a business owner's policy, especially if you're just starting or if you've been in business just a short period of time, a few years. The coverage is designed to protect the business owners against claims such as wrongful termination, discrimination, failure to promote. Some of them have wage endorsements that you can put in there, for instance, like California. But if you have anybody, if you don't have any of that, you may want to look into it. If they're better to have on a standalone policy by themselves, because it will give you an access to an attorney. So let's say you had a thorn in your side and you needed to get rid of that thorn and you wanted to make sure that you had what you needed to get rid of that employee, you can actually pick up the phone, talk to an attorney, make sure that you have what you need, and it's included under the policy at no cost. So that's a big one. The other is cyber liability coverage and data breach. You're hearing it all over the place. I just want to let you all know that this is not just for big business. We are seeing small businesses hit with this too. A lot of times we're seeing that a business owner has had to completely shut down the business because they didn't carry the coverage and restart up again because of the ransom charges. So it's fairly inexpensive to get. I have a cyber questionnaire that I use. What I will caution you on is no one should apply for cyber coverage without looking at the cyber coverage questionnaire. You want to make sure that you can answer those questions favorably before you apply. If you're denied coverage by an insurance company, you may not be able to reapply for another 6 months. So I tell people, get the questions first, work with your IT teams, work with whoever you're working with in the cloud systems, and make sure you have what you need before you're flying solo on it. And then that way you can answer the questions favorably. And that's cyber, the data breach. Oh, retirement plans, employee benefits. So many states have implemented that everyone has to start with these retirement plans for people. And you want to make sure that you're including employee benefit liability under your general liability coverage. And all it is it's coverage to protect you as a business owner in the event that you fail to add somebody onto a plan or offer a plan. And it could have been you didn't have somebody sign up for Teladoc, you didn't have, and then something happens, or you were supposed to offer something and didn't. It's a coverage that's so inexpensive. It's probably $100 and some a year. But if you're going to be doing that and offering any type of retirement plans, benefit plans, you need to add on the employee benefit liability coverage. And the only other thing I want to caution everybody on right now is we have a lot of people that have a lot of leases for property. A lot of people that are getting new leases for the very first time. When you are doing your lease reviews, prior to signing up with anybody, please review them with your insurance carrier, your insurance company, your agent, and your attorney. Because once you sign into an agreement, you are on that with that lessor for whatever their requirements were. So, we've seen some crazy stuff come in where we've had a strip shopping center where we have somebody just renting a piece of it. And then all of a sudden the landlord wants them to cover the building. They're just trying to put things in and have somebody else cover their costs on the insurance piece. So it's always good to have somebody else look at it and find some things, or we've seen ridiculous limits come in on what they're requesting, and we can help you to go back and what to say to them to get those negotiated. So I think that's all as far as the hot topics right now that we're seeing. So I can answer any questions that you have.
So for anyone who has, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Hi, good morning all. I'm John and Connie here. We're from Imperial Cleaning. We're based out of Long Island, New York. So Laura, obviously the insurance piece is a very important, aspect. We're a substantially large company and it's very impactful to the bottom line of us. What is your contact info? How do we reach you just so that we can kind of touch base?
Oh, sure. Everybody can reach me on my cell phone. It's I'll give you my phone number now. It's 301-919-8010. And in the chat box in a minute, I'll go ahead and drop my email address too. The one thing I wanted to caution people too is people have talked about, and I didn't bring this up and I needed to real quick, about subcontractors. If you are using subcontractors, subcontractors have to carry their own insurance coverage. If they don't carry their own insurance coverage, you can be on the hook for what they're doing. But if an insurance company doesn't know that you have subcontractors, you could really be on the hook for what you're doing. It's not like you can turn it into your own insurance carrier. You'll want to make sure they have their own liability, their own workers' compensation coverage. On workers' compensation, if they carry their own coverage, you don't have any exposure with that. If they if they don't carry their liability, or they carry the liability, either way, there is a rate that goes under the general liability policy. And it's basically like a kind of like a discounted rate if they carry their own insurance coverage. But here's where the problem is. Subcontractors, you are not supposed to be able, it's per the tax code, give any direction on what they're doing. You're not supposed to tell them how to do something, when to do something, how you would prefer something be done. They're supposed to be able to pick up the job and take the job and do it on their own. That's tax code. If you're giving direction, you're giving equipment, you're giving supplies, they may not be considered 1099. They look at, are these people working for anyone else? Because the 1099 is supposed to be able to work for multiple people, right? So if that's the case, you could be stuck with that. But the bigger problem that we're seeing, let's say that you have a subcontractor and they need help for the day, and they go to Home Depot and they see people outside and they pick up day labor. Even if it's not day labor, it could be their family that they pick up. If they do not have a workers' compensation policy in place, and let's say there was a claim that came through, and you could be responsible for that day labor that they just picked up. Because if you don't have proof and they're a subcontractor, it could come to you in a lawsuit because somebody's supposed to carry that coverage on that person. So everybody understand that? It's bad right now. So basically don't pick up day labor. Try not to use 1099s if at all possible, unless they are insured and they give you a certificate. The other problem is certificates of insurance are only good for 10 days. So people don't know that. So you get the insurance today, 10 days, cancels, whatever. You as the business owner may not even know that they don't have insurance coverage anymore. Okay, sorry for my rant, but now I can answer any of your questions.
We'll make sure that everybody gets Laura's information. At the end, we'll put it in the chat. Maybe Erin or Heather can email it out also at the end. But you guys can raise your hands, unmute, put your questions in the chat. Laura, I love that you brought up cyber insurance. I personally have had the Organize It website try to get hacked into. And this was a few years ago. We logged in and you could literally see the bots crawling on my website like bugs trying to hack it for ransom. And they almost got in because they had gotten in through my blog, because we hire all of these people to do our SEO blog pages. Yeah. And that is how they got in, was through bad backlinks, not credible sources that we're linking our blogs to. And these are things called like the dark web and other things like that. But we may be in the business of cleaning, but our companies are driven by technology.
Absolutely.
Yes. Jeannie.
Absolutely.
You're muted.
You're muted, Jeannie.
Yeah.
It's like, man, she's quiet.
Yeah. Not really, but yes. Thank you. Thanks, Laura, for all that information, and good point, Libby, that, imagine tomorrow if you didn't have the technology that you've been using to run your business. It'd be really hard, and we'd lose our entire schedule. So Laura, I had a question about business entity structure. So is there a different kind of insurance for LLC versus sole proprietorship? Is it a different type of insurance that you do for, like, primarily I'm thinking residential cleaning?
So for
there are a lot of sole proprietorships in residential.
Yeah, absolutely. Where that matters is how we structure, not so much on the general liability end of it, but on the workers' compensation. Because in some states, if you're a sole proprietor, LLC, or corporation, however you're set up, it determines whether you can be included or excluded on workers' compensation.
Right, as the owner, you mean?
As an owner. And sometimes members of the LLC, depending on the state too. What I tell people, for workers' compensation, always include yourself if you don't carry disability coverage on yourself. God forbid something should happen and you can't work, right? Let's say you had an auto accident while you were going to pick up supplies and you can't get out there and you need somebody to come and help you. Mm-hmm. At least workers' compensation will give you some benefit for your medical expenses and lost wages. Where if you have health insurance, technically health insurance, if something happens at work, they're not supposed to cover the claims. So if you are calling in and saying, hey, I had an auto accident, they'll say, oh, go to your auto insurance because that's primary. But if you have to go to your personal insurance and they find out it's work related, they can say, no, we're not responsible for that. So as far as setting up a business, whether it's sole proprietor, LLC, or corporation, however you're going to do it, the general liability policies doesn't change as much as what the workers' compensation does.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Awesome. Who's next?
I'll ask a question. What would you say, just for people who maybe don't have insurance yet or considering purchasing insurance, what amount of insurance would you say is good to get started? And are there any additional insurance options that you recommend right off the bat?
Yeah, so thank you for asking, because being part of ISSA residential, you all have a huge benefit through our office. So our office for years, when we put these programs together, some of them are exclusive to our agency and no one has access to them. What that means is you all do such a good job at training that we were able to go to these insurance carriers and tell them this information. So most insurance companies will require somebody to be in business for 3 years with insurance, or they have to be in surplus lines, which is high risk. We take that requirement out. So you can be a brand new business, start with our agency, and it removes that requirement. The policies that we write and I tell everybody about is everybody needs property damage, care, custody, control, hired and unowned auto, and bonding. Those are the 4 big ones right off the bat that everybody needs. Typically, I start with $1 million of general liability coverage. And the only reason I do that is if for some reason anybody is going into like any apartment complexes, condos, anything like that, you don't want to have to change your limit from 500 to 1 million. You just have it on your certificates of insurance and then you don't have to worry about it. But the big key is right off the bat is having the interior coverages, the forms that you need to have peace of mind that if something happens and a claim comes through, that you're not paying for it yourself.
Yeah. My next question is kind of in that same vein. Can you talk about the difference between something happening when you're actually cleaning something versus something happening after you cleaned it and you've left the home?
Yeah, so they split them in 2 different categories. One is property damage and one is care, custody, and control. A good example for the care, custody, and control is you're cleaning a flat screen television and it falls off a wall. You're picking up a vase, it's physically in your hands, you're working on it, and it drops something, and it's of intrinsic value, right? All of a sudden it's $1 million and they want you to take care of it. The property damage is more, you've done something and like a cleaning solution maybe went onto a carpet as you were going by. It's not something you were working on, but it dripped on there and now you've got bleach stains and now you have to replace the carpet. What I tell people too, only turn the things into your insurance company that you actually did. If you didn't do something, don't turn it in. It's not on you because you're blamed. You can be blamed for everything. And that's in the residential world and the commercial world. Have a good agent that get on the phone and say, no. For instance, when somebody puts a home up for sale, we see a lot of claims come through because all of a sudden they want their home all fixed up so that they can put it on the market, right? Now all this cleaning stuff is your fault. So the cabinet handles, something in the bathroom, what have you. So I tell people, make sure that you always vet the clients first and that you're dealing with them directly and you get a sense of it before you send somebody in. If you go in and something's broken already, please don't touch it. Don't touch it. If something's broken, don't work on it. Don't whatever. Right away, you should have your managers let you know. Set it up in a team thing because as soon as you touch it, you could be responsible for it.
Awesome.
Did that help you?
I love that tip. One thing we do on our sales calls that might help you guys with what Laura just said is that we ask, like, is there any booby traps in the house? Like things that are maybe half broken, wobbly. If we touch it, it will fall over. And they will come like they will offer that information up, and it just helps us get prevented from being blamed that we broke it.
Absolutely.
Mhm. Yes. Any other questions?
I will share one other thing real quick on that with theft, because theft is a little bit different than, of course, property damage. But when a claim comes through for theft, the homeowner should be reporting the claim to the police department, to you all. But what I tell people is a lot of times I wait for the outcome to see what happens, right? Because the police department, you know, before they used to look into all this stuff. Now they are shorthanded. We're not having these investigated the way they used to be investigated. But it's the same rule of thumb. If you don't think it happened, then we don't turn it into the insurance company. As soon as we think something's happened, then that employee can't work for you for bonding, okay? Our bonds don't have a conviction clause, which means if we think something's happened, of course, the insurance company looks into it, but we don't have to wait for conviction. A conviction in some of these states can take 3 years. And on that same note, it's the same thing where you can be blamed for property damage. You can also be blamed for theft things too. Like if you had, they could have had teenagers in a home, or other vendors in a home, or relatives, whoever. It might not have just been you in that house when something happened, or in that office.
So when that happens, your step is to still file the police report. And then how long would you say a decent amount of time to wait is? And then does that employee have to stop working for you when the accusation comes in?
Not necessarily, because we don't know that it's truly happened, right?
Okay.
But sometimes you could get a phone call from one customer, and then you're getting a phone call from another customer. And then we know that something's going on, right? But you could have somebody that's been with you for, 15 years and nothing's ever happened. And it's one of your best employees. And this is just insane. And it's true. A lot of times it is insane. But I will say, in hard times in markets, we've seen crazy stuff happen also, right? So things that we never thought would happen, we've seen them more over the last few years than we have in the past. But as far as waiting, it's not like it's a long time to wait, but I at least give it some time for the police department. A lot of times once they do an interview, if they do an interview in your state, they may not in your county, but once they do the interview, they'll have a good idea if somebody's lying or not, and they'll be able to tell you. So and then if not, but always work with your insurance agent. Don't just turn things in. That's another thing. Just don't turn them in. If you don't think you did them, don't turn them in.
What other questions do we have, guys? Did Libby freeze?
She did.
Oh, we lost her.
I'm sorry, can I ask my question?
Yeah, go ahead. Absolutely.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm sorry, I'm driving, so you might hear a bit of noise. My question is, with workers' compensation, I think it's usually, so I tried to get a quote recently, and the agent was like, okay, you have to get a quote for you yourself and include yourself as the owner. Sorry, going to take you about extra 3 times of what I'm quoting for you, because I'm adding you as the owner, and you have to also present your insurance details. I mean, could you talk about that? I mean, I didn't understand why that was necessary, even though I'm the owner.
Yeah, so what I tell people, and it's important for a business owner to understand this, and this goes back to not having any disability coverage, or if you do have disability coverage, it's up to you if you want to carry the coverage. But in some states, you're required to carry workers' compensation coverage. What I tell people is, if you're a business owner and you're not going out in that field and you're not doing this work, you should be considered clerical. You could possibly be considered outside sales if you're actually going out and doing estimates and stuff, but please don't do any of the work. Workers' compensation policies, in the beginning, when they're written, they're rated on estimated payroll. And at the end of the year, the insurance companies come to you and they say, what was your payroll? If it was more, there's an additional premium. If it's less, then you're due a return premium. It's similar with the general liability as well. Some of our policies are not auditable, but some of them are. Why I say that, and it's so important, is that if you say to the auditor just one time that you have picked up a cleaning solution, a bucket, a something, and anything, and you did any work or you fixed something at a customer's home because it was wrong, you have now put yourself in the residential or commercial cleaning class. Why that's important is that in some states, the minimum payroll exposures to include an owner can be really high. Some of them start at $75,000. You don't want that in residential cleaning. You want that either in clerical or outside sales. And in some states, you can exclude yourself, so you wouldn't need to do that. They may have said that if you have less than 3 employees. To do a workers' compensation policy, typically they want 3 employees. It doesn't have to be a full-time person. It could just be 3 part-time people. On my applications, when I write them, especially if it's a sole proprietor that's just starting, I put 3 people on my application anyway, whatever my payroll is. I use a minimum payroll. I also tell people, I caution people with using payroll companies. You truly want to have an agent that you are talking to on workers' compensation. They can check with you quarterly. A lot of agents will do pay-as-you-go plans, but typically our insurance policies, we can actually change our exposures during the year. So as you're growing, your policy can grow with you so that you're not hit with these big audits at the end of the year. But it sounded to me like that person, if there wasn't enough employees on the quotation, that's where that might have come from. Why I kept asking those questions.
Do we have any other questions, guys?
Good question.
Go ahead, Cindy.
Hi, my name is Cindy. I have a question. Does a company have, this is a scenario. A employee got injured at work during business hours, but she had a sprain. Is that considered work-related injury, or is it just, should she go to the, well, of course she did go to the medical, but at the time, my client, which is the cleaning company, they didn't want to send her to a doctor because they didn't think it was work-related. So that's my question, is while they're cleaning, and I know the answer, and I did say, but my client was determined not to submit the coverage or the claim. And I said, it's going to be worse if you don't. If you let her, it's going to get worse. My company, it's I've been in the industry for 30 years. So I did my company is based out of janitorial and safety consultant. So that's my company. So as a consultant, as a safety in the janitorial industry, I was telling her it is a work related. The employee is working. She got injured, whether it was caused by work or not, it's still a work. So tell me, you're the expert. Tell me, is it a work related injury? Should have I'm sorry, I'm a little bit nervous, but please help.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So yes, it should have been reported. So legally, I'm supposed to tell you that all claims are supposed to be reported to the insurance carriers. What I mean by that is my clients, everybody call me first before anything goes to the insurance companies. There are some things that, small things that you might decide that you not want to do. However, an injury for a sprain on a shoulder, I would have reported that. So here's the thing. If they had, and the reason why you want to get it reported, and it's important to do this stuff like right away, I would have had them go to the doctor, come back with a doctor's note. The big questions I always say to myself is whether they need to be reported. Do they need additional care? Were they given any medication? Do they need any time off from work? Those are my 3 red flags right there. If there is any of that, then get it reported to the carriers. You don't want to, especially if, let's say that they had another job, because a lot of people are working 2 jobs right now. You don't want something happening or getting worse and being filed under yours, and you're being responsible for the workers' compensation. So as things happen, get them done then before they're able to go home, go to a second job, work on a weekend, turn in a workers' compensation claim on a Monday, which happens a lot. So just to protect yourself. But yes, on that, I would have. And one thing I will caution people too, with workers' compensation claims, make sure that you're on this with the adjusters, that you're following up with your employees. The worst thing you could do is have somebody sit at home. If they're able to work, get them in the office. Have them fold origami notes. If you have nothing for them to do, give them something. And the whole point with it is to have them not be comfortable, right? They hate what you're having them do at the office. They want to get back out and work because truly workers' comp only gives you a percentage of your salary anyway, if you're what you were making. So the whole goal is to get them back out and to not have them sitting at home in front of a television with all the lawsuit lawyers that are trying to claim workers' comp. So
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry, I went all over the place, but I hope I explained myself, and you did great.
You did. Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. I'm back. I lost power.
Oh no.
It came back. But when it flickers, you have to wait for the modem to like restart the internet. Yeah. Any other questions that I have a question, but I don't want to take up the time. So if anyone else has questions, shoot. We only have about 10 to 15 more minutes with Laura, and then we're going to go into breakout rooms. Laura will have her own breakout room, and then we'll have a members breakout room if anybody wants to learn more about ISSA membership. No
I think you're good to ask, Libby.
Okay. So, you know, I've gotten insurance quotes from one range to another. Some seem like astronomical and some are like, well, this seems cheap. Like, and so as a business owner, like when I first started getting quotes for cyber insurance for the software, I was like, holy crap, some of it was really expensive and some of it was more affordable. And do you have like a rule of thumb that it should be like a percentage? Should our bundles of insurance be within a certain percentage of the revenue that we're making so that we know if are we buying the wrong policy? In fact, was it written wrong? Are we being taken advantage of? Like, is there a rule of thumb, like a percentage range that we could say, okay, this is within reason of our revenue?
Actually not. There's not. And that's the tricky part with this. So cyber, just so everybody knows, cyber is an animal all by itself. Cyber is because every single policy is different. As soon as we are writing these policies, they're out of date, meaning a hacker has come up with a different thing that we can't include a form for. So as soon as they are filed with the insurance commissioners, as soon as they start being used, we are already out of date with these policies. We can't keep up. And that's just the insurance industry. As a whole, it's everyone. As far as the other lines of business, what I tell people is your agent should be able to do a comparison for you. So if you've shopped your coverage or you have a current policy, an agent should be able to do a comparison for you with their quote. So what I do for people that come to me, I look at the coverages they have. I tell them if I think that they're good. If it's something that I think we can enhance or get better premiums, I'll let them know. But we can do like a line by line on the major things. Like, do you have property damage? Is it limited? Do you have care, custody, and control? Many policies do not cover any workmanship whatsoever. What classifications are they using on the workers' compensation? That kind of thing. But there isn't a percentage as far as like, you should be paying less than this percentage for the insurance based on your total value. It varies by state too. None of the rates are the same. For instance, California is very expensive and Virginia is the least expensive we have. So, and the rates so vary. So we could have, $12 for workers' compensation versus $1.40 something for workers' comp. It's crazy. So I'm sorry, I don't have a better answer for you for that, but that's just the insurance industry as a whole. What I will also say is some insurance carriers specialize in this arena. And an agent, like we have 40 different carriers that we represent. So let's say that I have a policy with you. Every 2 years, we're shopping your coverage on our end, in the back end, before you won't even see it. But if we find out, let's say that Travelers is getting out of the market because of whatever, and you've had a policy with them for a year, we already know to shop the account with the other carriers. And internally, your agent should be able to do the coverage comparisons, premium breakdowns to let you know where the differences are and where they're moving you to. I hope that helps.
Yeah. Did we lose her again? We lost Libby again.
I think so.
Oh my gosh.
Poor Libby.
Poor girl.
She's got the great weather, but she's lost power twice.
Yeah. What other questions do we have? Who has another question? Can you talk about umbrella policies? Because I think sometimes that gets skipped over a little bit, and it does serve a purpose, I feel like.
It does serve a purpose. So all of the policies that we write in our agency, we have $1 million that we do for the liability, $1 million for hired and unowned or auto, and then the workers' compensation, which we also do typically at $1 million. The umbrella policies, if you're doing any type of commercial work, they will ask for some type of umbrella coverage. It's an umbrella is just like the personal umbrella where it sits over top of your current policies, right? So it gives you an extra layer of coverage. What I tell people is as you're growing, as people are on the road, as you have more people working for you, you need to get umbrella and coverage. Not even if somebody's not asking you for it, at some point you need to have more coverage. The biggest one that we're seeing where this comes into play is on the auto piece, because these verdicts are ridiculous that people are claiming on. So I tell people, you definitely want to do the umbrella coverage. It's one of the lower priced coverage compared to the other ones, but everybody should have an umbrella, especially if you've got like 3 or 4 employees or more. You should start looking into one. It would probably cost you maybe $400 a year to start. That's typically what I see. I'm sorry, Libby.
Oh, my power, it went out again. I was like, they must be working somewhere outside. Who knows?
Yeah.
All right, what's your question while you're here?
Only convenient when it works, right? So I have one last question to tee up that I think I want you to raise your hand in this group if your cleaning business is your primary source of income. Raise your hand. As in it's your primary source. Like maybe your husband has a job or your wife has a job, but it's your primary source of income. It's not a hobby. It is your job. Like it is your life and your retirement. Keyman Insurance. I would love for you to share. So for maybe we don't all have that or know what it is. How important is that when it comes to this being like your livelihood?
Yeah, it's huge. So everybody should have a plan in place for your business. If you don't, I recommend you getting one like right away. Sit down with an estate attorney, sit down with your lawyers and get these drawn up. Most of the time, these Keyman insurance coverage is written through whoever does health insurance. If you don't have a contact, I have one for you. You're welcome to reach out to me. But in the event that something should happen to you as an owner, what's your exit plan? Like what would happen? Like Libby, if you didn't come to work, if something happened and you were in a terrible auto accident, God forbid, you need that coverage. And the coverage is to have the business move forward still basically without you. So it's a lot of times when you have partners in a business, it's to buy out the other partners. The last thing you want to do is work with somebody's spouse that has nothing to do in the industry, right? Like all of a sudden they want to make changes and do things and they don't even work in your field. They have no idea what you're doing. So it's very important to be able to have the Keyman coverage. And like I said, it's typically written under life and health, and I can help with it if you need it.
I don't know about you guys, but it could be my age or my company's, or I don't know, but this has been a focus of mine for the last year. Is not just the Keyman insurance, but the trust, the attorneys, the entities. I had set up all my entities wrong because I had set them up. And going back and making sure I have this correct. Because when you realize like, oh my God, I'm the only person on the LLC, or oh my gosh, I'm the only person that can access the bank accounts. What if something happens to me? We can't even make payroll, or no one can run payroll. Yeah, they can run it without me, but they wouldn't be able to if I died tomorrow, because all that gets shut down digitally overnight.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize that. I think that they think that it could still go, and if somebody has a password they can get in, that's not how it works at all.
It's not how it works. I know a cleaning business owner, her husband passed away and he had his name on the LLC and the bank account, but when he passed away, she didn't realize that it's all digital and it's all connected, and she was not prepared for that, even though she owned the cleaning business.
Yeah.
So, okay. I think we're almost at time to get ready for breakout rooms, Erin.
Yes.
Yes. So any last announcements, upcoming ISSA events, and the next date for the coffee and conversation before we go to breakout rooms?
Okay. Oh good, I'm not muted. I thought I was muted. Usually I start talking and I'm already muted. A couple of things. We do have coming up on April 1st is our next mastermind group. And I don't know if Jeannie, do you want to talk a little bit? Because some people are new here. Like it's a members only, it's exclusive, but like we have, our new mastermind groups because this will be the third meeting.
Yeah, thank you. I just realized that I wasn't muted. So, yeah, thanks, Erin. We have started a mastermind group to help our ISSA residential members connect with each other, just to get to know other ISSA members who have businesses that are about the same size as yours. So our mastermind group meets about quarterly. And what was the date of our next one again? It's
April 1st.
Oh my goodness. Well, there won't be any April Fools that day.
No.
Maybe some little ones, but it will be on April 1st, and we invite all of our ISSA members to come, and we break into 3 groups and hold some discussion time. And we'll have a topic of discussion, and we'll just kind of go around and talk about our challenges and some of our wins and learn from each other. And we've done it twice, and both times just have had amazing feedback. Everyone's really loving getting to know other people and also like who to talk to learn about certain topics. So we break into 3 groups, businesses under 400,000, businesses from 400,000 to $1 million, and then businesses $1 million and up. And we had 3 great size groups at our last discussion and really good topics. I know the group that I was facilitating, we had some great discussion, and I connected with 2 people in that group I hadn't met before, so that was really great. Libby, do you have anything to share about that too? I know you facilitated one of the groups.
Oh, the groups are great. I facilitate, I can't remember, I think it's either 500,000 to 750. But it's great because I learned from a ton of the people that were in there. And again, sharing the wins and the struggles and like what you need right now, we share our needs. And we're all at different points, no matter how big or small your business is. It's like business is an evolution of issues, and they just keep coming in circles, no matter your revenue.
Yeah.
Right.
And so it's really great insight. It is purely peer-to-peer learning, which is one of the best forms of learning to me, and learning from experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love the idea. So if you haven't participated yet, we hope that you'll join us. If you aren't a member in ISSA, we would love for you to join. This is one of the many benefits of joining ISSA, and we will have breakout groups at the end of today's coffee and conversation. So jump into the membership group if you'd like to know more about membership and the benefits and how to get involved. But ISSA Residential is a great place. If you're in the residential industry and you want to learn, there is so much, not only access to experts in the field, but also just a lot of education, benefits, and just guidance and discounts and all kinds of stuff. You get connected with great people like Laura to help you like with your insurance. So I hope you'll talk with us about it if you haven't considered membership yet.
Awesome. And
I put a couple of links in the chat, Libby. One is the link for the mastermind group, which is April 1st. And again, that is members only. So if you're not a member, you get an email about how you can join, so that you can attend the event if you want to, because that is something that we've put together, like coffee and conversation. So much of what we do is very open. We want people to learn about this. But these groups, the mastermind groups, are exclusively for members. Like this is an area where you can really connect, like Jeannie said, one-on-one with your peers. Really deep dive into learning in different topics. Like this is our 3rd meeting of them. They meet quarterly. I also put a link to just our residential cleaning events overall. If you go to the page that I put the 2nd link in for, that'll take you to, did I put the wrong link in?
No, it's right.
No,
it says
okay.
residential cleaning. Yeah.
Okay. That is everything residential. Like we had the coffee and conversation today. next week we have our first house cleaning technician certification program of the year is next week. It's February 13th and 14th. And there's no better way to celebrate your love for this cleaning industry.
I'm like on Valentine's Day.
Become the master cleaning professional. Come on. And if you go to that page to learn more about it, and if anybody's taken the HCT, it is a powerful course. It's a deep dive into being a professional house cleaner. You learn the science behind the cleaning. You learn about all the different surfaces you're going to come up against in a home, and how do you work with them. And we've added, there's disinfection, sanitization, if I'm saying that right. I mean, it is just a really deep dive. It is a powerful course. It's 2 days. Like I said, it's next week. If you want to learn more about it, contact me. Obviously, we have a member discounted rate for attending. We have a discount for multiple people attending. This is a course that we recommend for all owners and managers and like lead technician training people at your cleaning company to take. So if you're interested in our house cleaning technician program, please reach out to me.
Awesome. And then lastly, coffee and conversation. I dropped the link in as well,
Yep.
but our next coffee and conversation is May 15th because we have moved them to quarterly since we now have the mastermind as well and some of the other events. So make sure you join. And also Coffee and Conversations is open to everyone. So invite your cleaning peers, colleagues, competitors, friends, you name it. Invite them. Because there's a lot of power in helping us build up our industry. And also, let us know what you want to hear as far as a coffee and conversation topic. This is conversational, it's chill. I wanted to bring my coffee and conversations cup, but my son put it in the dishwasher and he melted the label off of the cup. It's like, man, kids. But it's purely conversational. Bring your coffee and let's brainstorm, let's talk. So if there are topics you want to hear about that you need to learn more about that you don't know about, drop them in the comments anytime during this and we can gather that feedback. All right, so we're going to have 2 breakout rooms, right?
Yes. We will have, Laura's going to take 1 room. So if anybody has additional questions, follow up to find out what are the hot topics, recommendations from Laura. Martha just put up the list for the breakout rooms. It should have come up on your screen. So you should be able to select the room that you want to go to. If you need help moving to a room, I think Lacey is going to go to our membership room. So if this is your first time attending, I say, why don't you hop into the membership room? That way you can learn a little bit more about membership with ISSA and, what it can do for you. We welcome first time attendees to this all the time. We welcome anybody, you can learn the power of, what being a part of this community can do for you.